so what's happening? Government and all y'all crossed the line, so what's happening? My ancestors wouldn't like you crossed the line, so what's happening? We original, y'all GMO, y'all lying. I do this for my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche. I do this for my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche. I do this for my Nietzsche. Should've left me where I was, cause I ain't never scared. Took that little ice off my neck for this arrowhead. My nation, my Nietzsche, someone thorough said. Real Americans, still pure blood, we thoroughbred. I'm like, let my people go and just take me instead. When it's red or blue pill, I'm only choosing red. I'ma always choose my people, you can keep that bread. Our government owe $1 trillion, you can keep that bread. If it's one thing Jim Crow is showing me, I don't want no white folks ruling over me. I don't want no politicians ruling over me. I don't want no po-po ruling over me. Only somebody just like me gon' treat me like me. I'm Iron Cherokee, the Chief and Dr. GLE. I'm still a G like EST. Might not be as G as me. You think you free, but you need remedy to be as free as me. I'm from the hood, I'm still waking up my people. They got us good, they still hating on my people. When it comes to fashion, the whole world wanna be like us. When it comes to music, the whole world wanna be like us. When it comes to dancing, the whole world wanna be like us. Foreigners are doing everything, trying to weaken us. Sports, y'all can't fuck with us. Rhythm, know we killing y'all. Anything involve a ball. Mentally, we figured out the cosmos. After all inventing shit, we smashing y'all. It's time to take through asking y'all rights by blood after all. Vatican and the Smithsonian got all our shit. Artifacts and relics still keeping us away from it. When they say that was a long time ago, that's racist shit. Y'all holy land keep stolen shit. We don't need y'all holding it. Reverse engineering our technology, controlling it. Gave it everything you got, but you can't put no soul in it. I ain't go see the new Matrix cause I'm living it. Everything is not what it seems, but I'm killing it. Can you afford to pay attention who you living with? Now they trying to mandatory vax, but is you getting it? Fall back off my Nietzsche, I'm peeping y'all tactics. This ain't no earth war, this here is galactics. Goddesses and gods warming up like practice. We gon' put arrows on your chest like patches. Mongoloids can't style like us, them fake natives ain't wild like us. They ain't got a soul, destiny as a child like us. Nobody power like us, nobody peace pipe like us. Boxing, y'all can't fight like us, nobody lost they white like us. Wake 'em up, I'm in the way. Say too much, I'm in the way. They tryna kill us anyway, so listen what I'm finna say. Everybody, our kids, we raised y'all anyway. What that sense is finna say, everybody ain't here to stay. Is you with us or against us, ain't no in between. I'm a non-ether being, not a human being. Yeah, fucking 1492, but all my allies what it do. Renegade got clipped for days, be careful, I advise you to. Me and my tribe are opera mind, so what's happening? Government and all y'all crossed the line, so what's happening? My ancestors wouldn't like you crossed the line, so what's happening? We original, y'all GMO, y'all lying. I do this for my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche. I do this for my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche. I do this for my Nietzsche.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I want. Let me go grab some sink. That's why I'm leaving the images up for the amount of time that I'm leaving these images up about the land that they're from. This is an example of that. Now, I joke around, call myself King of Mestizos, and they try and joke around, say I'm mestizo. So it's difficult for some to understand that I have acquired this information and I'm sharing it. They're upset. See, when you see this information starts making you question things. When you really look at this image, there's so many different ways you need to look at this image. There's so many different faces in this image. There's so much going on here. But to get understanding what's really going on, there's some information that needs to be brought out. But it's basically boils to the point of, okay, since we know that we were the real royal society, the real royal company, the real people who were doing trade. Now, who were selling Slavs across seas and this, that, and the third? Who exactly knows? Who doesn't know? But one thing is for sure, they are keeping a great deal of information from you. What I am showing you is one of the key things that they do not want you to know. Now, I mean, it gets deep. When I look at this, I see faces all the way down to the mountains in the front. Giant faces looking up. I can see the eyes, the nose, and the lip on the one at the bottom. One at the bottom has the telephone poles covering part of it. But it is an eye to see these things. Importance is what you can get out of a mountain. If I know what certain things are and in certain locations, then there will be an abundance of certain things. And I'm gonna leave it at certain things. That's why I put earlier that I want to put together the basically shit like an Aboriginal platform for just Aboriginal information where it's all we do is put together and gather Aboriginal information. Pure American Aboriginal information. Aborigine or Rego or Riri, you name it, even Orient, and all those words are really pertaining to America and not over there. It's pretty interesting. So, again, let's get back to these images. Let me be quiet and just let these images sink in that, okay, cool, all right, so where we go from here? If these were real giants walking around here, what place do we have at our size? Like, what is the purpose? I mean, damn, and if you believe in the flat earth, then that means you believe in the dome, and that means that some of these things would stand up and would hit the sun. Like, motherfuckers could slap the sun. Like hold on, bro. Like, shit's so big. We need to find out. We need to figure it out. Something's not adding up. Something's going on. But I'm open to, dealing with the right answer. So there are many people who talked about giants and they were just trying to be extra biblical with it. And they would only use what information they could get from shills. So I'm gonna let y'all know that there's been a lot of shills in each and every single movie. And we know who they are because they try to infiltrate the Aboriginal community. I'm not gonna mention their names. I don't gotta keep mentioning them, but it's like all-star lineup, and it's very weird because now they saying they from the Cachenda tribe down in Texas, Louisiana borders. I guess Texiana, Louisiexis. I don't know what's going on down there with the reservation. The person said really didn't exist, and all the chiefs being named out, called out, turned out rat boy ancestry don't tie back to any of the chiefs of the Kawasaki Sushi tribe. It's probably a bunch of Sicilians acting silly. But I mean, hey. Let's take a short break. Play some of these images. So now what I'm saying here is, could it be that these were actually giant creatures? These were giant creatures that were turned to stone by some mystical, magical Medusa type of way. But we can look at a natural event happening, which is volcanic petrification. Petrification that comes from volcanoes. So this information is worth looking into. It is definitely worth looking into. Again, what makes it this what makes this thing so interesting. So here it is. That supposedly all these giants, died, and a lot of them were real big. I'm talking about big. I'm talking about 900,000 feet. You understand? That's a walking building. But then you got giants that they talking about as bigger than goddamn the whole West Coast. What the fuck is going on here? Big as the whole West Coast. Shit. So this information needs to be examined. And if I'm being told that you go to the base of these petrified creatures, there will be certain minerals, certain minerals that will happen if someone was killed and then petrified, where everything would rush to. And specific areas where it will be concentrated at, to find rare earth minerals and other type of minerals. So, you know, hey, we are the real royal society, and it's time for us to take our rightful place. That's what the whole Aboriginal civil information. If you can see, looks almost like how this was. This looks right here. If they were driving down the freeway. I just wanted to give that as like a sneak peek. That's coming soon. I'm talking about not that soon. So waiting for things to die down to where it can be, you know, y'all gonna see. So this is what happens, y'all. This is what happens, man. Let me get back into quiet mode before we kick it up. Getting up, I'm sending out the link to hop in. This is gonna be an open panel situation too. So again, this is for the Tartar naysayers, the people that just trying to attribute everything that they're seeing to some petrified creatures. That actually you will find the hand of man in the design. In what you see here, when I drove past there, all of that was stone. All right, so we talking about, we wouldn't say stone cutting or stone whatever. All that was stone, and that broke off the top part. The top part right there where the stones and rocks are still has a design of what that was on it. So that would mean the structure, these structures existed before the so-called petrified creatures. That's some information, stories I'm going to be busting out. I'm going to be ready for it. There's some, it's some heavy information. But that's going to go into, well, anyway. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, y'all? Prepare for the American Horror Show. It's going down. Man, it's time for the information we put out. But it's some information that really goes over the head. Needs to be, properly presented for everyone to understand, and how we can utilize from this information, mobilize and get in the direction that we need to go to create some type of future for our people, instead of letting somebody else manifest our destiny. You know what I'm saying? Rather what position you are in this community at this moment in time, man, it's time for us to really come together. Think again, man. I gotta show this again, y'all. Gotta show this again. Get used to it. Get used to it. All right. And on that image, you can see the structures that are. I'm telling y'all, stop playing, man. California is full of them. It's probably tens of thousands of pyramidal structures all throughout California, all throughout Oregon, all throughout Seattle, all throughout Wyoming, all throughout Nevada, all throughout New Mexico, all throughout all this, all this. So what I'm saying is, look, you the Royal Society. These are the different things that the Royal Society dealt with. Royal Society traveled around the world. It's the so-called Royal Society before. It's just them lying about what our people are doing. So when it comes to people like Isaac Newton, I will literally stand up and put money on it that there's never been a man that ever walked the earth by the name of Isaac Newton. That is a total fictional character, and that everything that they have said about the Royal Society before the year, as I said yesterday, 1873, to now. Anything before 1873, throw that shit in the trash. Throw it in the trash. We could deal with, well, the stories and the names have to be connected to something. Oh, well, then bunch it all in from 1873 to now. Shit. But all that shit and all that information and everything, I'm telling y'all, the whole slave trade and a lot of the slave trade narrative is based upon these certain things that you're going to find. You're going to find Iroquois Confederation, Iroquois Nation fighting. Those connected to the Iroquois Nation, Confederacy, fighting we the slaves. So they're fighting. We and slave master is good old John Kerry looking, Mark Cuban looking, goddamn Patrick. There's just too many names to go over. I'm not even going, you know what I'm saying, say it. Yeah, so basically, you can see that the things that you find in the year 1900, when you see that we were 20,020, not 2, not 20, not 200, not 2,000, 20,020. The businessmen. What business were they were doing at the time? And y'all go, that's why I'm doing this again today. So everybody get to understand. Again, this is the Royal Society. The real Royal Society is us. Numbers of Negroes in business, 20,020. What was the Royal Company about? Business. What was the Royal Society operating about? Business. Now, there are things that need to be dealt with in this information. In this information, that is, what were they dealing with if it wasn't the Federal Reserve? No. What were they dealing with if they weren't using the same system as we use today with the dollar? What were they using? Were they using those so-called coins that we see that they'll say this is an American Indian head coin, and you see a lot of coins that they say are worth all this amount of money. If you can find one, some made out of gold. Is this stuff real? Are they playing with us? Is this a game? We need to dig into this stuff and see what's up. Well, I've done a little bit of digging into the numismatics, J. Bartholomew, which tied back into that Royal Society motherfucker before 1873, which means it's that bullshit. That's all the bull. But this is just me. So y'all can look this up. Look, you didn't look this up. Who had watched a Sherlock Holmes or some type of clock at that time, the time of death, and any of those so-called murder scenes or anything happening in the 19th century? You know the story, Sherlock Holmes, whoever the hell his sidekick was, I forgot, hunting them down. Man, it goes on and on, the clock part. And that was probably poor in there. We see Agent 1172. Again, y'all, 20,020 So, 20,020 businessmen. All got on one accord. No TV got going on. They all got behind 2 a.m. If Liberty got behind everybody that's really pushing out here, kids out. Like, saying like I plan on putting out the Aboriginal civilization. Basically, it's time to leave a legacy. People saying that, they just and having an answer for whatever information that we put out, that can be proven or can be proven. So again, for those who are gonna say, nah, we were slaves, and nah, the white man was slaves, you trying to cover up for the white man, you don't want to see the reparations, you trying to go that direction. Again, I share with you here, Darren. Why is it that it says number of Negroes in business 20,020? Why doesn't it say number of Negroes in slavery? Why does it say number of Negroes in 20 were agents and collectors? Why isn't it saying slaves and the slaves? Right? Why is it saying boarding housekeepers and not boarding slave keepers? Why is it called the druggist and not the slaveyist? Hotel keeper. What? Hotels? No. So pay attention to this in the future for everybody. Why haven't the so-called and Turtle Gang talked about this? 20 pictures from this book on this channel at the end of February. Last day of February. We had all that. We were printing paper. Come on, man. From 1870, right? Then in 1900. Then by 19. Okay, 19. Yeah, we need. That means they owe us. Not 800s. That was all. We were doing all this. We had it going on. Labs. We had the warehouses. We had the smelting area. The blacksmiths. We had all that. Yes, our creature was pissed off that the creature off that which petrified it. And then there's a creature that was on the side, and there's some creatures down there if you look at the mountains. Looks crazy as hell. Really does. Even today. And right here you see what they would call Tartar civilization. You know, to cover up that it was really our civilization. They'll put Tartar. So there you get a live picture. See, I didn't Google it, discovered it myself. You wouldn't hear me present a lecture about this. You can see the sizes of the houses. So you can tell that's a good 40 feet to 50 feet below the surface. So you have this structure that they have dug up, which I'm pretty sure they're going to destroy because I'm spoke to truck drivers, and they destroy, they dig, and destroy. They're digging so far into the ground. So I took it upon myself, risked myself, it's worth money, to take a picture so I can share it with everybody to see that they still covering up things connected to that ancient civilization over here in California. And there it is. Dug it up. Been digging all around it. And I know their machines, some of the stuff is made out of such a solid mineral, they have trouble, they have to destroy it. It's, all right, that's for advanced. It's highly advanced. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, man, if y'all could zoom in and see this, man, it all looks crazy. You know, it's like, well, okay, if this, I don't know if y'all can see what I see. This is not easy to observe with the eye. You have to have one of those real trick eyes, you know, one of the investigative research type eyes. I mean, I'm telling y'all, if y'all see the way I see it, it just looks insane. It looks insane. It's like a dragon and the wings. It's wild. Well, anyway, this is the Nagaland, y'all. Remember that. Once again, dragon and light are one and the same thing. Anybody who knows anything about the knowledge pertaining to anything with light, anything connected to it, and you if you hear me when I say this out of my mouth, when I say that I'm showing that dragon means visible clearly, then we're getting somewhere. It's the thought, like thought, thought game, aka turtle game. But this the light, the clear light. So it is connected to that enemy revolt that is a part of our downfall, which is the birth of the KKK, which happened not too long after, you know, this coming into power of the now Royal Society, the Fellows of the Royal Society today. And their true origin and beginning is not going back to some 1660, 1666. That is going back to 1873. And that's it. And everything before that is highly unlikely and most likely total and absolute bullshit. Put money on it. Anybody want to step and believe that it was some high heel Lucky Charm boots, some damn big ass white wigs with some makeup on some damn boats. You got your damn mind. But I see the dragon clear. Didn't mean to go there, y'all. All right. Time to dig in. Y'all know, I know. Long intro. Intros forever. That's what's up, man. I ain't got a long intro. Now I mean, do my intro. Shit. Now what it do, y'all? Dayago, Naigo, Higuat, lift the people's minds. Grand rising to the people out there. Shout out Gueta. Hope you are doing well. Now I mean, Gwe, ha, Gwe, Gweha, or Gweha Tashi, Gweha. You know, hello to all my friends. Partners, what's cracking, what's happening. It's time, once again, to dig into that Royal Society's ass because, again, as I have shared, when it comes to all the things that they supposedly were doing, we have proof that when somebody went around jotting down and calculating how many people were doing what, the numbers were at 20,020. And that is proof and evidence that that person jotted down that information. And the enemy got hand on it. So that means that the enemy knew how many of us were doing what and working in what positions. They didn't know no inside information, but they knew that it was this many people doing this many people doing that. Somebody was taking it down, and that was W.B. Du Bois and others operating alongside all of them. We got to hold accountable accountable to all the big time names in the 19th century, all being part of letting this go down. They let it go down. But it's a new day. And we see that order has not been returned to the real fellows of the Royal Society. I'm gonna have to come up with a better name because I don't like that. I don't even want to call it Skarure or Sekure. Got a whole nother name for it coming soon. So when we think of the Royal Society, we think of Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawkins, who was a dude in a wheelchair, that talk sound like a damn computer or whatever, like Timmy from South Park or some shit. Was supposed to be real smart and shit, but was looking all fucked up. Um, Now there are certain dates and periods where it's very questionable, so I haven't really looked into it to see if the whole uh, Charles Darwin situation is real. I know that is a Slav, and the Slav has two names. One is Charles. How the fuck is he getting a name like Charles? And how the hell is he getting a name like Darwin? What do these things mean? What do these things mean? Got to remember, there's a fake ass history that is created for anything you look on anywhere on Google. So you will find that they have a story to support some bullshit lie they made up. So they're gonna have a whole thing behind the name Darwin. He's gonna talk about his father. Oh, the Darwin abolitionist people. Oh, they had so much heartfelt moments for the slaves. So then we have to deal with what happened before 1873. Since it's that the so-called stories of these people in power in the Royal Society, Royal Company, these are barons. These are the so-called people that'll say that was a slave master that had that slave ship. That was a slave master that owned my slave ancestors, my slave ancestors. So this is how important that to understand this again, to understand this as we deal with the situation that we're in today, because those group of people in 1873 took the time and effort to destroy what we had going on and what we were doing. Now, I've given y'all, everybody, and whoever will see this in the future, clear cut precision at the enemy, and those who are descending in power and control are still the enemy today and will be the enemy in the future. Therefore, you now know that there are people that are controlling us in the way we operate with money. We get all upset over inflation because we're still using dollars and all this shit. We still believe in the Commonwealth. Well, we need again. When you deal with the Federal Reserve economic data, when you're dealing with Switzerland, uh, Charles Schwab, that dude named Charles Schwab. I'm trying to think. Dude that's running things, pull it up. The Economic Forum in Switzerland, the banks and all this have us under the impression that some presidents printed on some paper who are the presidents who they pick to be printed on their face and the structure of the face, rather it be a real person or a person of one of us, octamaroon, Melungeon, mulatto, or whatever the hell all these other. I mean, let's be real about it. So when it comes to this financial situation, what did we use before 1873? When it comes into the situation today, are we to accept the form of economic, uh, or whatever they call it, commonwealth of paper, as in paper money or money through the Fed, which is the Federal Reserve Economic Data? How are we gonna operate? We're gonna have to discover that don't have to really discover because we have somebody who has put together the black digital dollar. Are we really going to step behind the black digital dollar and do this? Are we going to still usually removing ourselves from this system and getting back? Why is this important in the topic today? Because it is the fellows of the Royal Society that control everything you know about the Federal Reserve notes that are being printed, the promissory note, and the stuff connected to all the Commonwealth of Nations. You're going to find it is connected to them and the so-called queen that's supposed to be on her way out. All right. Had to break y'all in on that. And much more to come on everything that I just shared. Rewind it, save it, take notes. A fellow of the Royal Society. Nah. See, there was no such thing as people calling themselves fellows of the Royal Society until the 20th century. This shit is hogwash, and they're saying nullius in verba means no words or take nobody's word for it. Is another bunch of hogwash. And I'm saying that because they supposedly say they came out of Britain and the UK, and they're trying to make people think that this small part of this island over here in the North Atlantic Ocean is controlling the whole world. And they said the sun doesn't set on the British Kingdom or the sun doesn't set on the Roman Kingdom. Well, who gives a damn because of the Commonwealth of Nations. Commonwealth of Nations means that they're controlling the economic trade within those areas. And I believe it's 56 of them. America happens to fall under it. That's our structure. That's what we're dealing with. And that's the money. And when it comes to that, that's the fellows of the Royal Society. So when people are going out, going along with it, and a part of these powwow reservation groups, and they're getting $250,000 given to them by the government, we know that they're in cahoots with what's going on. So that is just for the advancement. I wanted to basically get that out of the way before anybody, wanted to get to the connection that it is very much connected. When you deal with those dealing with the reservations and stuff, some of them know the basis of what I'm saying. They know get money and make sure that their family is taken care of because the truth is not important unless it's making you some money. The real world, let's just really here, the Tuscarora. So I didn't really, what I'm saying, break all this down. Shirt wearing people and hemp gatherers. So if we have the people being the Tuscarora and they're a part of the Iroquois nation, although they'll say 1722, I do not agree with that year, 1722, because I don't trust anything before certain dates. It's really getting bad with me and my trust here being different thing. It's just too many holes all over the place. So too many holes, they just you either throw it out or you deal with the parts that don't where information doesn't fall through and you try and work your way through it. And it's been strategic, doing that, trying to deal with certain information. So it makes it complicated for many to understand. So that's why I wanted to get straight to the point with explaining the currency, economic structure, transaction that you're doing online. All right. So Tuscarora, hemp gatherers, or shirt wearing people. All right, gathering hemp. Now I mean they're smoking that loud. Shit. So Sky Rure, that's like a phrase you could say like, oh, okay, man, that's a Sky Rure. Oh shit, where's that? Light up by Marley. You know what I mean? Light up some of that good, some real good, runts, some whatever you could toss up in it, And the Tuscarora also dealing with the people who made tobacco, so I'm pretty sure they were flattening out some tobacco, making some tobacco rolling papers, and rolling up some backwoods. That's right, Tuscarora, y'all. But doesn't it blow the mind that the same people are the intelligent people to the sciences explained in that picture from the colored American? So they want us to think that it's a separation. Where is it at? Hold on, y'all. And please, everybody, you can look at anything that I'm saying. Look it up. Just look up the Royal Society and see the actions and transactions and the things that they're doing from the beginning of the 19th century to the 20th century. Just observe it. Look what they're dealing with. Look what's making the money and what's really going on. It blew mine. So, okay, so when it comes to the source of the so-called Native Americans and the Underground Railroad, aka the slave subway or subway slave, or I forgot I put it, slave subway. Here are the sources. Gotta read this to y'all. Gotta step up here. It says Rowena McClinton edition, the Moravian Spring Place Mission to the Cherokees, Volume 2, 1814, 1821. Is talking about the Underground Railroad being Native Americans, and watch me read the other sources. It's basically going to tell you what it's getting at, and I'm going to read some of it so y'all understand what's going on here. They try to reverse it to make it seem like we're not the ones that are doing all that stuff like you see in Colored America. Like we're not the 20,020 businessmen, right? They want you to think this is what we were doing. This is what we were 100 years to 50 to 100 years before that. It's what they're trying to make you think. All right, so that source will be at Lincoln University of Nebraska Press, 2007, and that is from May 1819, 285. Okay, whatever. McClinton Moravian. So I guess that is the year 1819. Moravian Spring Place Mission. Here we go. Number 3, for a discussion of blacks, Native Americans, and the Underground Railroad in Detroit, as well as possible Tuscarora activity in the Canadian Underground Railway. Did y'all see that? That even when it comes to the Underground Railroad, I just explained to you that you even find Tuscarora in the information that's pertaining to the Underground Railroad. Ain't that some shit, y'all? Yeah. So, again, I got to read it again. For a discussion of blacks, Native Americans, and the Underground Railroad in Detroit as well as possible to explore activity in the Canadian Underground Railway. See, Tia Mills, and Tia Miles, whatever. The Dawn of Detroit, a chronicle of slavery and freedom in the city of the Straits. New York Press, 2017. So that's when they put that nonsense out. But you see, they put who I'm trying to explain is not a slave. All right, that might have been one of the collectors, one of one of the businessmen. That's normally a slave that's narrated by himself. Phelps in 1849. Got to investigate that situation. So he left from doing his trade, from doing what it said that we were doing, and he becomes this formerly a slave because he was out there doing what he was doing since a child. But that's a story for another day, y'all. That fellow of the Royal Society was a person that had some damn high heels, goddamn goofy ass leprechaun buckle shoe with a damn corset, goddamn Captain Morgan hat and shit, and you know what I'm saying, looking like a goddamn weirdo, like some Pirates of the Caribbean shit that people saw. You know, that's what they want you to really think. It's not the case, y'all. All that nonsense. Let's get to what it says. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, I had to hop out, hop back in. Got a phone call. So basically, here is. See, I read the source. I gave you the source first, and now I'm going to show you where this is. So anybody that's talking about they get the information from the Library of Congress. When it comes to the Underground Railroad, anybody that they can show a picture of being a melanated person involved and was at the Library of Congress connected to what is called the Underground Railroad, that's connected to anybody that's called a Native American, even though nobody was called Native American at that time. But even at the top part, you see names like Shawnee and Cayuga, right? But let's see what it says. Roy Finkenbein as another great example based on the records of traders and missionaries living near the Stockbridge Reservation of Wisconsin. So you got to look up the Stockbridge Reservation of Wisconsin and see if this, well, you know what I'm saying, this is real. So they're talking about traders. Well, what do you think the agents and collectors are doing? When you see that in the Colored American 1900, you see the 20,020 businessmen. What do you think they're doing? They are the traders. Now they say missionaries living near the Stockbridge Reservation. Well, that's the missionaries who were doing the in-between trading. All right, so this is so far the information that I have myself. Means this is what I have discovered, and reading this stuff has kind of cleared my eye to the misconception and misinformation, the intentional lies, and stuff that they probably shouldn't have put in there. Y'all about to see it right here. So describe who, in one instance, described Stockbridge Indians assisting four black missionary Missourians, my bad, Missourians on the run. So when you hear black Missourians, why is it called a black Missourian? Why isn't it just a Missourian? Why isn't it just a tribe from Missouri? Once again, when it comes to those petrified stuff I'm showing you and all that, when it comes to the most important petrified looking shit, and you zoom in, guess where areas you're looking at? You're looking at northern Texas, Missouri, and Wyoming and Dakotas and all those areas. But you find a lot of it in Missouri. So the black Missourians on the run, an oral history passed down among community members in the Ottawa village in Hungary Hollow in western Michigan, described a community effort to help a group of runaways on the Grand River. So who are these so-called runaways, right? Who are they saying the runaways are? Are they saying that the black Missourians? Right, right, huh? Four people? That's the Underground Railroad? Four people? Really? Could say 10,000, they didn't know they were slaves? All right, the historian Tiffany McKinney has noted the abolitionist politics of free Afro native New Englanders such as Wampanoag, Sailor, Paul Kofi. So now Paul Kofi's a Wampanoag, and now they done slid Paul Kofi up in here. Ain't that about a bitch? Pointing to another reason for further exploration of Native American Underground Railroad activism. So y'all look up Native American Underground Railroad
Stack that bitch up, Mike.
Yeah, truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. The truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't, it ain't legalized. Realize, realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Real eyes, realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Real eyes, realize. Realize. Yeah, slavery was a long time ago. How? Same motherfuckers still here right now. Colonized on our land, they ahead of us. Changed our name so much, they scared of us. Children of the sun, y'all don't compare to us. Pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Talking about America, pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Even up the playing field, bitch, I'm darn. How you a victim, bitch, you a Karen. Cognitive dissonance, you don't need sparing. You got white privilege, so you don't need sparing. Looking at my homeland, man, I can't believe her. Colonized came here, they ain't never leave her. Indians ain't die off cause we here. You ain't gotta lie, just say you won't be here. How you American but not indigenous? 400 years still ain't get rid of us. All Europeans and naturalized citizens made all the Indians niggas on the census. 1492 we was on the fences. Civil rights movement we was so defensive. Black Wall Street whites got so offended. Common law rights gave us amendments. Think I don't speak truth, that's alright. First slave 1619 was all white. 1200 wasn't no continent, all white. Europe named after a black woman, alright. Grafted, it come from us, do your research. Go within, quit listening to teachers. And the Nuki got voice coming out the speaker. Cut our trees down and made us weaker. Really they foreigner, the shit gets deeper. Whites don't know where whites come from either. I'm Aborigine, we come from the ether. Ruling over us in our land, that's evil. Being colonized right now, black people. Prisoner of the war, that's why it ain't equal. Wake up everybody, don't be no sheeple. Freedom ain't free, really freedom is illegal. And we can't get mad at this. Whites act like we can't see their advantages. Privileges real, they working in management. Low down dirty, but they calling us savages. They want you to think they above us. All white people are part-time judges. I ain't no racist, but I ain't no sucker. I ain't no African, but they my brothers. Been lied to, I got built up anger. We built everything, still waiting on the savior. Don't call yourself black, please do me that favor. Black tourmaline will protect you from a hater. Listening to your oppressors is dangerous. Gave us a Bible and stole our nation. Said we couldn't read what we didn't know the language. Kept us on paper because we didn't see the danger. American Indian, keep the religion. Skin copper color look just like a penny. Wanted our land and you called us stingy. Ain't no Democrats there together, pay attention. We got ancestors but the papers is missing. Kings and queens we just can't remember. Remember who you are, just like Simba. Now they got a vax, we don't want that in us. George Washington is the ninth president, look it up. United States only 10 square blocks, look it up. White people really the minorities, look it up. Courtrooms don't got authority, look it up. You want me, say stop governing me. Gave me a straw man, it's really not me. Why you don't keep it 100 with me? Why Trayvon Killer still walk around free? Made this song for the truth, don't hate it. History was told in reverse, I've stated. You still oppressed, somebody gotta say it. I'm taking out of school, that's the reason I made it. History, it's his story. History, it's his story. History, it's his story. History, it's his story. It ain't my story. History, it's his story. Probably ain't your story. History, it's his story. It's his story. Plenty of bitch, I'm down. How you a big you a can cognitive.
Hey, what the hell you doing? Mongolian? What the hell Mongolian doing here? Hey, fuck you, Mongolian! Don't you break down...
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you. Trying to go on information. You go in the description. I put a little bit more of the information. This video and the last.
So y'all got to understand, you was not a slave before the flood and the railroad came.
These people, it's crazy.
Cities, demographics going on in what they call the Americas.
Hello?
Down with y'all, Cass, whatever else name. Live on the I Don't Give. Brother's gone. All
Right.
opinion, agreements, disagreements upon the information people who were for us, and particularly tied into the Iroquois Nation, and that the one that called himself Turtle Gang. Information about that and the Underground Railroad's incorrect, and Rat Boy, aka Legendary Top Cat, information being incorrect and a lie everywhere that he say anything, or just the information itself about the petrified giants and the ancient civilizations that we're finding.
Your bike going in and out.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I just turned this AC on, so it's probably loud in my background.
I'm just chilling. I'm looking at your information here. Unfortunately, I don't see. See, I got a picture of New York when the people first came here, and there was some pillars that they had to walk through in order to go through Manhattan. And they had, like those old Germantown buildings that we call Germantown buildings, like 2-story buildings. They had
Yeah, I know what you
2-story
mean.
buildings all the way across them. So I'm trying to figure out, where is the Indian tribe? Before they tore down Manhattan, I'm telling you that these people that made a motherfucking fantastic voyage and a story. But when they came here, we already had apartment complexes and stuff like this. but they
That's
don't
right.
paint no picture of that. In my mind, when I see that picture of the people running across Amsterdam, and they had the girl and the husband and the children, you know, the one cartoon like picture they drew. And I think that, but I never understood what I was looking at until I came to the Aboriginal community. Then they started opening up your eyes. The sad thing is, the people y'all let in, they turned on y'all. Every one of them.
Very true.
Every one of them. I sat and watched it all throughout the years. But mainly it comes between the chiefs arguing with each other. You know how men they are. You know how we are. We can't let the person get the last word in. So we get to arguing and cussing and fussing back into each other, and they take the focus off of the information. Literally, they just want to fight. So what we need to do is set up the boxing match. You think Chief Rat is gonna come in?
Hell
Do he want to
no.
box? Do he want to box?
Damn cow.
That's what I see. People want to box. They say he said he gonna kill the Aborigine community, like he did the Pan African community. You can't kill the organic. You can't kill the organic. You can't kill the originals. You wish you could. They couldn't kill the Aboriginals in Australia.
That's
How they
right.
gonna kill the Aboriginals in America? These people gone. We better wake up. I seen Dane flip on y'all. I hate to see that the Empress don't fool with y'all anymore over here, but I understand why. I seen everybody. Carmel, he was over here. People don't know. They wasn't even people new to this, so they don't know what actually took place. You know what I'm saying? Because of all the arguments and probably people
Very,
making
very true.
money too, but that's just the story that they untold story in the back rooms. But looking at the Seneca Village, now Seneca Village, it's a funny story behind all this stuff, ain't it? When you could
Yes, it
show
is.
a Negro in a three-piece suit in the early 1800s, and if he was in a color picture, you would think it was today. You would think it was today. His wife got on a watch, which make you believe it's the early 1800s. They was telling people that the people was in tribes. You know what they did? They created a story with the Iroquois Confederates. The Great Law of Peace is married to the Constitution. Now,
Mm-hmm.
could play, if you could play somebody like Betty read the Great Law of Peace, and you could play the Constitution, somebody reading the Constitution after it, and you will hear it for yourself. I won't have to tell you. You'll hear it for yourself. You listen to the Great Law of Peace, then you listen to the Constitution, and it's going to tell you that they married. Then they
That's
came
right.
down south, which is really west. They said they came down south, but they actually went west. And they confuse you people with, oh, the Southerners. But wasn't they along the East Coast? Then they went west.
Yep. Once they got over that Hudson River area, they say the 1811 earthquake that they didn't make it over to that side until after. So
Right.
far from what I've heard.
But it was a lot of explosions. They said the Richter scales was going off the hook during them 3 months, from like
Right.
December all the way to May, something, yeah, almost to May. So a lot of people, you read this history, don't get lost in them tribes because they can get you stagnated. We are in this is an investigation over here for the Aboriginals. We looking into this
That's
stuff.
right.
The Indians, you find your tribe, you connect with those people if you want to connect with them, but for the most part, you're too far gone to be an Indian. You're too far
Wait.
gone to be Indian.
Yep. Yep.
I'm sad to say it, but you too far gone. We advanced people now. We're not TP people. We stopped being TP people in the 1200s. We've been speaking English since the 1200s. People don't even know that. Like, go and read some of these grave sites, and if you can read the name and it's in English, it should tell you something.
Hey.
I ain't saying that we didn't have our own little side languages where we, communicated with each other, because we have to keep our own secrets too. You can't let everything out the bag, you know. But English been over here since the 1200s, and people don't want to believe that shit. They think that some white dude brought it over here when it was an educational system for the world, and they took it over to Europe and helped them people learn French, Spanish, English, and Latin. They
That's
spoke
right.
German over there.
And that goes back to that's that Royal Society stuff. See, the Royal Society will try and make us think that it was some white dudes in some damn dresses and some little high heels with some leprechaun buckles going around teaching everybody ancient Latin, ancient Greek, the ancient stories, Bible, ancient anything. They'll try and take credit for it.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What year did the German and the Roman society start in the universities?
To my knowledge of late, what I know now, shit, that's like more recent. That's like after the Great Depression.
Yeah, that's the
But
societies of them being
yeah,
registered when they registered
that's
as a
right.
society. But
That's right.
before they was registered as a society, they always was in the educational system. They were the private school taught people.
That's right.
But
In America,
we,
because
right, in America, when Europe and the Byzantine Empire and the Latin Empire, all of them fell. The Latin Empire fell in the year 1200, but that was because the city of Philadelphia fell in 1200. But here's the key: when Philadelphia fell in 1200, it fell in 1776 here. See, that's the
yeah,
Christian
see,
years,
I got you.
and you got the
Right.
Muslim years. You got the Muslim years over in Europe, and you had the Christian years over here in America, which was the same time, the 1200s for over there in Hispania when the Latin Empire fell. It was in the 1200s. Here in America, it fell in the 1700s, which was the same time, but they wrote it in two different dates, so you'll be confused. We already speaking English before the 1600s, because most American Negroes was already speaking English when the white folks came here. So who taught the people how to speak English? It had to be their grandparents. We had schools because the boys used to go to school and the girls used to be to school. We had a private school. We used to be the Catholic Church until it fell in 1453, which was the Byzantine Empire. When that fell, they was able to get inside the church and and wiggle their way into the system. And when they started changing the rules, you could see when they started changing the rules in the 1400s to where they started writing in themselves. but people don't pay attention because we was thinking this out of Africa theory stuff, so our minds was all over the place when we was, a lot of us was coming out of that Black Power and that African movement that was just a movement, but it wasn't real. Now it's real for people who are Africans, and it's real for people who believe that they are Black, but Black is not good for a nation of people because they want you to write laws saying, who's going to protect the Black people? We need laws to protect Black people. But you can't protect a color. You can only protect the American people, which our people do not want to be, because the history of Americans is that they invaded America. Which sound crazy, don't it? The history of America is that the
Right.
Americans invaded America.
That's the
And
Marxist
our people
idea.
called them Americans. Yeah. Our people called them Americans. You know the seventh dwarf, the merry men, hi ho, hi ho. And off the field we go. They tell you in these stories, but we don't look at them. We don't understand. We can't comprehend. Our people never liked it, the Americans, because they came here claiming our land. So we fought the Americans, not knowing who the Americans are. We fighting the Americans. We don't know who they are. It's a visible race of people. Who are the Americans? They invaded America. How could the Americans invade America when they're supposed to be Americans? Unless you're talking about a Mary and a Maury over there in Hispania in Europe when it was called Hispania. People, we learned from the Moors. People think we didn't learn from the Moors. We learned from the Pan-Africans. We learned from the Blacks. Now we learning from the Aborigines. This is progress. We may have to go back. We learned from the Indians. We didn't learn from the Indians because that was all a part of the system anyway. We learned from the Pan-Africans because they became a part of the system. The Moors, they knew the laws, so they was a part of the system. And the African Americans, they just was lost in the sauce, claiming anything. Okay, we'll be whatever y'all want us to call us. We can't keep being whatever people want us to call us. We gotta stop this Black stuff because that's Nazi propaganda. The white people came here. They claimed that they was gonna prove to whoever they was proving to that they was the master race. Why did they come to America and do that? Because when they came here and they opened up their eyes and they looked and they said, it's real. They got cars, planes, trains, and automobiles. That shit was real. They ain't never seen nothing like that before in their life. It's real. So now you got a bunch of people calling themselves Israelis. When they came to America and they think that it was real. That's all Israel is. When they came to America, it was real. It's real. You mean you can be your own king? Yeah, you go buy your house, build your house, you and your wife and your kids, and you get some land and you work some people on it. Yeah, you can be your own king. It's real. Don't get caught up in that Bible. That was James' last will and testament. That was his last will and testament, not yours. He just was warning us about what was to come. Come on, little Christian soldiers. They was coming down his door. He knew it. But he couldn't straight out tell you like, oh, it's these Christians who done took over the Byzantine Empire. Because he got to write it in code so they won't kill him real fast, what they end up doing anyway. That book got a lot of warnings in it. And it tells you to live your life righteous. That's all it's telling you. Live your life righteous. And this, that, and the third. Don't listen to them passages tell you to when they done misconstrued a master with a slave master. You know what I'm saying? A master is someone who teaches you how to build things. They confuse him with a slave master. In Asia, Asia was full of masters, wasn't it? So they would be the what? The master class. They had masters all over the place. You know where the masters came from? The great city of Tatanaka, down in Central America. If you look at the pictures on the wall, then you type in Afro-Asian, you'll see that they pictures is on the walls down in the great city of Tatanaka. You see it for yourself. Then you start realizing, oh, damn, that was our people they blew up over there in Vietnam. Damn, that was our people. Damn, that was our people. But until you see it, you got to see it with your own eyes so you can see it for your own self. Don't just listen to people. I just told you what to do. If you do it, you'll see it for your own damn self. It's up to y'all to really want to investigate America. You got to find out about España, not España, Española, España. That was once what you call Europe today. That was España. It was the land of Castile, the land of Castile. And that little queen they had, whatever them people was that. Them people just became kings after those royals. They wasn't royals. Actually, it was just the scribers. The scribers had all those castles there because it was filled with libraries. Those was where the scribers was at. And then when we had festivals, we would go to España, which was called Europe. We would go there. The world was a totally different place before 1325. 800 years ago. 700 years ago. 700 years ago, Chichen Itza was the world trade capital. The year 1320, Chichen Itza was the world trade capital. Sumer got defeated in the year 1095 by the Ottoman Empire, but they ain't telling nobody the real truth. But they didn't set up the Ottoman Empire yet when they went into Sumer. The Sumer was a major trading post that had a globe. They had the globes. So when they invaded Sumer, they got that globe. Then they went into the land of Castile. They went into the land of Castile, took over all the castles, which led them to the Americas. When they came to the Americas, we had castles, pyramids, temples, all type of stuff here. And when you get double teamed and double crossed, because you're in the middle of Asia and Europe, you're in the middle of it. Like Russia over here, you got Europe over on this side, you got Asia, the Siberians on that side over there with the Russians. You got the Mohabs and the Mohammeds over here with the Europeans, and America are smack dead in the middle of it. They're going to tell you that whole place right there in the middle, in between Asia and Europe, there ain't no history on that motherfucker. You got to be shitting me. Oh, they kidnapped the people and they brought them here. Have anybody walked anywhere before in their life? Have you ever rode a horse and buggy? Can anybody? How long would it take you to ride a horse and buggy?
Yep.
Ride a horse and buggy from Cincinnati to Louisville, and let me know how long it takes you to get there.
Yeah, it's gonna take a minute.
These people crazy. When you talking about going into Africa, they didn't even have cars there. We had cars here. We had trains. We had everything here. In the 1800s, in the early 1800s, we had shit here. Motherfuckers would only wish they had.
Right.
Our people used to get ice brought to their house. bread, milk, eggs, cheese. What else we used to get sent to our house? When you lived in the city, they would send this shit once a month or once every week. You'll get the diapers, the cotton diapers. They would send in the cotton diapers, all this stuff. This stuff was going on way before these people even got here. Our people was taking care of ourselves. Our people had a system that was on autopilot. When that autopilot system got broken, that's when they took over. Because we was caught flat-footed. When Hispania lost this kingdom, and when Asia lost their kingdoms, we were the ones that lost everything, but we didn't know it because our stuff was over there and over there. The castles over there, the temples, the castles in Europe, and the temples in Asia, and the pyramids is kind of in Egypt and South America, and the mounds all over America. And you know, I'm gonna have to say this for the people who don't know. What happened to the mound builders? They became the funeral directors. Right there in your face. All you gotta do is go to your oldest funeral home. You're gonna stand on top of the mound. Right there in your face. You don't even know it. You don't even know that the funeral home directors was the mound builders. And they was the ones who was taking care of the body.
Yep,
And we
that's what
just
I just
advanced.
seen from. That's what I just seen
We
from.
just advanced people. We advanced. We advanced past all that other stuff, and we started living in cities, and lived on our farms, and just lived a regular life. All this extra stuff these people done made up, that's them and that them secret societies coming up with a history in order to sell it to their people that they were bringing here, the immigrants. You call them settlers. The settlers, they had a story for them. You know what I'm saying? And George Washington wasn't the president of no state in America. He was the president of Lodge Number 1 of the Masonic Lodge Number 1.
That's
He
it.
wasn't the
That's it.
president
That's
of
all.
the country.
That's right. A lot of people don't know
That's
that.
it. That's all people. We've been so lost. They done fed us all this stuff. They pulling our brain all over the world, all over the world. Our brain all over the world. If you would have told me, if they would have showed me them black Asians over in Asia, because I know now, but if they would have showed me them black Asians in Asia, they wouldn't have said nothing about Africa. They would have told us we was Asians. We would have said we was Asian. We would have said we was
Yep.
Asian Americans.
Yep.
Oh, we Asian Americans. We know karate, even though it did come from the Tatanaka. You know what I'm saying? That shit came from us. Karate, all that shit. Temples, everything. All that stuff came from America. Temples, all them temples. People, they trying to confuse the people by saying Hebrew and Israelite. Hebrew, like they say, you got to read the etymology of the word, and all of it means is, a Hebrew means is those that came from across the water. That's all it means. Don't mean that you religious or nothing. Just means you came from across the water. Then they showed you in the picture that they was flooded out, but you don't think that was down in Central America, from California down through Mexico. You don't think that was the flood, that the flood happened from there. You know what I mean? And the people left and went to Asia because it was flooded out. They said, shit, fuck it. They left the temples, the pyramids, everything there. The stuff was gone. The people was in Asia. So when them Asians came here, wasn't nobody here. Not in Central America. The Mayan city, all the people left, went to Asia. Because of floods. They was like, they followed the leader. Went over there, built Asia up, made them little pretty old little houses, man. Them little pretty houses they got over there in Asia. They turned them motherfuckers down, though. But them motherfuckers was built. They had steam. They had everything in there. Heat. It used to be super cold in Asia. They had heated floors, everything over there. Bamboo, and man, them boys was bad. We don't know about Tatanaka Hochi. He was the leader of Chissa. Well, he ran Chissa. We don't know about the French, who ran what you call Canada, which was once France, who was the Powhatans. The Powhatans. Like, why the Iroquois and them don't talk about the Powhatans? Oh, the French Indian War. What's the Powhatans, the French? Because y'all don't talk about them. And then the islands, Toussaint Overture, he was French. I mean, when somebody don't tell the truth, nobody knows nothing about our country. They don't know about the people. This is real jacked up, man, because we got to restart the whole history and tell the people who the people are and tell them who was bringing who here. John DuPont Baptiste, he was bringing people in through Chicago. He was bringing in the Quakers. And the Quakers had people who was in them tribes, the so-called Indian tribes. And they were doing them passes of rights and stuff like that. They say he the founder of Chicago, and Chicago was already built before he founded it. Like, people say anything, man. They'll write you anything in history. You know, even though it's partially true. But he's a French guy. And France used to be Canada. So that means that what was the Powhatan territory? All the way down through Detroit, all the way down to down near Illinois, all the way down, almost past Ohio. All that was Powhatan territory. If they would have told me that French, English, Spanish, and Latin was all American languages, and you are an American, I would have been speaking all four of those languages right now today. You know what they taught me in school? Your people were slaves. I don't want to know nothing about you motherfuckers. That's the first thing. What the fuck these motherfuckers talking about? And you go to ask your granddaddy, and I'm like, what the hell they talking about? We were farmers. I don't know what they talking about. You know, man, my granddaddy was a preacher. Like, one of my granddaddies was a preacher. One of them was a Navy man. Like, what the fuck? No, man, that shit fake. They just let it ride. You know what I'm saying? Because they the ones that went through the real terror. They went through the real terror. Like, you wake up, motherfucking your whole neighborhood on fire. You got to run up out of there trying to figure out what the fuck going on. What happened? What happened? Don't nobody know what happened. Then you come to find out that the immigrants that had this World Fair is the ones attacking you, but you don't know who the attacking. Your government done been overpopulated with their people at that moment in time. So when you go to your government, you go to the police station. It was black yesterday, and it's white today. And you're like, damn, well, what happened to Sam now? Oh, he gone on vacation. Okay. That nigga better watch his back when he walk out of the courtroom, whatever he do. You know, these people. And they did it across the country. And the thing is, our communication was lacking. It was lacking. It was lacking. We didn't have the right type of communication. We boycotted the world fairs because they came here talking about Christopher Columbus discovered this country. Right there and there, our people were like, oh, hell no. Ain't no motherfucker find this motherfucker. And what the hell are you talking about? Oh, hell no. Now they got total control over all the invention. Our people ain't even going. because they boycotting it. Like, no, boycotting was the wrong thing to do at that moment in time, but they did it anyway. No, we ain't gonna be no part of that because we're not celebrating y'all freedom. And y'all making up these stories and telling people that white and black, white and black signs on the damn, that shit was a part of the circus. All that shit was a part of the circus. Any flyer you see came from the goddamn circus. Anybody who comes to somebody else's country and put a white and black sign up, something wrong with them people. Let's see who bites. You put the white and black sign, let's see who bites. Black people go over here, white people go over there. You ain't even have to tell them motherfucker. Now they got your ass. Like, oh yeah. You black. He called himself black. Look, he went through the black fountain. When black used to mean pale. And the Germans was the first to become pale. They was the first to be blackened. Look at your Black Law Dictionary, fourth edition. Put in to be blackened. Put in to be blackened. And it should tell you, the definition should pop up, and it should tell you that the Germans was the first to be turned pale, to be turned blackened. Turning a country pale is to blacken it. So our people run around here saying they black, which really mean pale. And when we even can show it to the people, they still call themselves black. That's ignorance. How much ignorance can we take? You turn on every TV station, African American black, and it ain't the white people doing it, it's us. We don't know if these people foreigners or what. The first foreigner to come up here to call us black was what? Who? Coakley. What dude's name was? Whatever he called himself now. That got me over in Africa, got a new name, an African name. I say, these people was nuts. And Martin Luther King told us that has a bad connotative meaning. We ain't listening to nothing like it. And Dave did put it out. So a person can't say he didn't. Right in our face. And we can't save our people because they got to save themselves. Like they say, you can't save a drowning person. When they drown, and you got to let them bloop, bloop, bloop. When you see them bubbles, then you can grab them. But our people drowning in ink. And it was different languages here, but most of those languages were suppressed. We shouldn't have let them. Well, in the spirit of advanced society, you got to think we was advancing our society from the 1700s to the 1800s to the 1800s. We was advancing our society, but we shouldn't have let so many people come here and share in the advance, because people started taking advantage of our people. They made up this big, great slave story when we was on trade, we was trading, and we was on autopilot. People didn't have to tell us what to do. We was on autopilot. We knew where to take the crops. We knew where to take the goods. We knew where they were stored. We knew how much we had to ship off to other countries because other countries were starving. This is the land of abundance. Well, it was the land of abundance until all these cities sprung up. The cities sprung up, then they started. Here's a question: how in the hell do all the people who they call Jews, how they got all the major downtown skyscrapers? if you came through a Holocaust with nothing. And you got prime real estate, and you got the real estate where the so-called riots happen. You got the real estate where the riots happen. And you saying you went through a Holocaust when the riots was the Holocaust for the Negroes in America. And the Negroes in America they ain't like Americans. That's why we have a hard time with this American word. We look at American as white people. We'd be anything else but American because of what the word American, what they used it for. It was nothing but destruction. How long is it going to take us? We still trying to get people to come off a word of a Nazi war. This is a Nazi war, black, white. That's a Nazi war, black, white. We're the white race, we're superior. We're the black race, we're superior. Well, it looked like the white race beat the hell out of the black race just by using words. Because they didn't fight no war. You know, we went to war. We went over there in World War I. We went and fought for the French. World War I, we went and fought for the French. The Powhatans were the French. People don't know history, so you think that the French was France over there when the French was Canada. And Canada is actually a surname of the Japanese, which is Canada. When they ran into the Micmac up there, they asked the Micmac, where y'all come from? They told you, we came from Canada. So they jumped up and said, this is Canada. Go and read what the Micmac.
And break and shut it down.
I'm out, Loaf.
Peace, Elder. About to cut out. Ain't got to shut down the show. Got to go on about. Appreciate you taking your time, my brother, the fella. Appreciate you sharing that information. But we got to